Hello there. Welcome once again to Living on Purpose. This is Fola Daniel Adelisi. Today, I'll continue our series of discussion on the financial mindset, and I'm going to be talking about the generosity mindset. It's important to talk about the generosity mindset to increase financial prosperity or financial wealth. You need to understand that giving is pivotal to making money. Now, some people will easily turn off when they hear things like giving, but you need to understand that whether you believe it or not, giving is a spiritual principle and a proven physical principle that contributes to the wealth of prosperous and wealthy people. When you also take a look at the people who give, you will notice that they are constantly prosperous. There is not a single person who gives that I know of who isn't prosperous. When you also take a look at the wealthy people all over the world, there are people who give. The richest man in the world today contributes to one form of charity or the other. Go and take a look at the list of the top 10 richest people or the top 20 richest people in the world. You will notice that they give to one form of charity or the other, and they've been doing this for years. Why do you think that they give to one form of charity or the other? Go to several nations. You will also observe that the wealthiest people in those nations, one way or the other, contribute to the success of the elections of those who are in office as presidents of those nations. While that is a strategic giving and they're using it to reposition their business, the most important thing is that they still understand the importance of giving. So you must come to a time when you realize that giving is not an option. The only thing you're to talk about is how you're going to give and who you're going to give to. Now let's come to the Bible. The Bible says there is he that scattereth, yet he has more, and there is he that withholdeth and tends to nothing. You need to understand that giving is both spiritual and physical. The Bible also tells us to cast our bread upon the waters, and it says after many days you will find it. In other words, when you give, it comes back to you. And it doesn't come back to you exactly the way you give. When you give, you're giving it as a seed. It comes back to you as an harvest or as a harvest. So you need to understand that each time you give, you're obeying both a spiritual and a physical principle. Anybody who gives will eventually have more. And giving is also an attitude. It is also a kind of force of nature that attracts more people to you. When you give, people pray for you. And if you believe that the spiritual controls the physical, you need to understand that once you have given to certain people, their prayers, their wishes for you will eventually come to pass. Remember one of the things that, for example, Jesus says in the Bible, it says that, some people came to check him in prison. He was cold, they covered him. He was hungry, they gave him food. And they asked him, when were you cold that we covered you? When were you naked that we covered you? When did you need food that we gave it to you? And he simply said, as long as you have done it to any of these ones, you have done it to me. Now, the Bible again makes us understand that he who gives to the poor lends to the Lord. And one of the things I like to say is that giving to God is one of the best ways to invest. Because if the Bible says he who gives to the poor lends to the Lord, I strongly believe that God is the one who can give you the best principal on your interest. I mean, the best interest on your principal. So why would you want to give? Why wouldn't you want to give? Now, let me also be very clear. If you don't believe in giving, that's okay. I'm not addressing you right now. I'm simply letting people who want to learn understand the fact that giving is a solid principle that everybody who wants to become prosperous begins to engage. Giving opens doors for you. Giving operates in such a manner that things you've been trying to get done for a long while will eventually be resolved through an act of giving. Now let's take it further and not even talk about whether giving spiritually or giving to religious organizations. Let's even talk about giving gifts to people around us and to some of the people that you know. I remember the story of a gentleman who was a student in a university, and he said that one day he was inspired to buy a gift for someone in that university, and he obeyed. He gave that gift. From that day, that person paid attention to him, and things became easier for him just because he gave somebody a gift. There are times when you've been working on something for years and you really do not know how to make a headway. It will just be somebody that you would identify and give a gift to that will make the whole thing easier for you. And the person can just give you one information, and that information can transform everything. When you go to companies, you go to organizations, you go to several places, you're submitting a proposal. Sometimes look at the front desk executives, look at the security man, look at different people that don't look down on them. Give them something. You never can tell how that giving will become the determining factor for the things that you want to achieve. You can't be a stingy person and expect to prosper. Giving unlocks opportunities. Giving opens doors. Giving can bring to you information that several other people do not have. So it's very important to understand that giving is connected to a financial mindset. And if you really want to change your financial mindset, you must give. However, it's also important to say that you need to give with wisdom, and you need to do something I call calculated giving. When I say calculated giving, I mean don't just throw money around. There are good seeds, there are bad seeds, and there are some people you just do it because you never can tell when you're going to need them. That's why you give to some of those people. So think about it and just ask yourself, why is it that the richest people in the world are constantly giving? And go and check their records. You realize that they have been giving for a very long time and they continue to give. They may not give to churches as some people argue, but they give to something, they give to someone, they give to a cause on a yearly basis. So giving is not an option, it is not negotiable. However, if you're a Christian, now this is strictly for those who are Christians. If you're a Christian, I want to urge you not to joke with giving of tithe and giving of offering. It's a spiritual principle. It opens doors to you. When you do that, God gives you ideas. There are certain things that you begin to see that you didn't see before. And those who have operated in this principle faithfully for several years will tell you that giving has worked for them. I can tell you, and I have proof that giving has also worked for me. So giving is connected to a financial mindset and financial prosperity. So from today, if you're not yet a giver, I want you to begin to explore the avenue of giving. There is the first thing that comes with giving is joy. When I do it, I find peace. I'm happy about it. So I really want to ask you to try it out. And I can also tell you it works and it produces results much more than you can imagine. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that this is something that you'll find useful. Please head on now to youtube.com/Fola Daniel Speaks.